Hello and welcome to the Peach Plant Podcast. My name is Momo or Peach, and this is Grant or Plant or Fern.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh God. Wow. Holy smokes. We just finished watching the Pokemon Day Pokemon Presents on the 27th, and it was incredibly amazing.
Yeah,
good announcements.
It keeps feeding into my life hypothesis of once you stop caring and trying or like pursuing hopes of something like that,
like big expectations, bingo boards.
That's when things happen. Yeah, we did bingo boards that went
we'll talk about that in a second.
We'll put them on the screen now, and you can see how many squares we did not fill in.
Here's the well, actually, yeah, we'll just have the ones that were filled in. We had a lot of just random predictions like Pokemon Rangers or Dungeon or collaborations that we didn't want to happen.
You have to remember there's 24 blocks. You can only fill in so much shit. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, they, genuinely went into this expecting nothing and came out with some actually high hopes.
My jaw's on the floor.
That will, yeah, absolutely. Those high hopes are immediately going to be on the floor, though, eventually. Of just
probably.
Because especially it's really difficult. They're just being so far away.
Yeah, but it isn't, though. It's less than a year.
Yeah.
If everything goes well.
We'll get into more of the timeline here at the end of the, what are we going to call it? The podcast special. Not even an episode, just a
surprise. The surprise podcast. Surprise. Okay, well, what we want to do is obviously we want to spend the most time on the meat and potatoes, which is the big final announcement, and that's going to be at the tail end of the podcast.
Which is Gen 9. I mean, come on.
Surprise!
There's going to be, we got to get you to click on the video somehow. I mean, come on now.
We'll also include just our thoughts on it, because you know us, we're really critical on Pokemon games and stuff like that.
React channel, but not a react channel.
But we also don't care.
But we also don't have face cams because we're ugly.
I actually don't think we're ugly. But anyway,
we don't have face cams because we don't have a camera.
Somebody just fucking commented. I drew an illustration of the starters. Spoiler, they showed the starters. They commented Weed Cat, Apple Trex, and Donald Duck.
Apple Trex? What is that?
Like dinosaur? Maybe?
T-Rex, you fucking idiot.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
They didn't capitalize it or space it out. Anyways. So anyways, what we want to do is we want to do a quick run through of just everything that's announced and kind of give you the main takeaways, the announcements, so that way you get what you need from it. You good with that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Why not?
All right. Well, we'll get started. It started off with the absolutely terrifying Pikachu in the background that was animated.
Oh my God. I thought that was a pop figure that
I thought it was like the ears that were moving.
And I saw the ears and tail moving. I was like, oh, they just put some little little Arduino motors in there and just make it ours. And then all of a sudden he was like, yeah, let's get into it. And he turned around. And it was Pikachu. And I was like, oh my God, it's real.
And then cue the cheesy transition.
Cringe transition marked on my bingo card.
So the first update was a weird trailer for Pokemon Go, is including Generation 7, so Alolan region Pokemon. So that's exciting.
That trailer was like...
It was just weird.
It was like, oh, maybe it's Rowlet. Maybe
water.
Keep it a secret, though.
Bubble.
And it's like, hey, Game Freak, that game's been out for fucking 9 years. It's like, we know who it is. You can just show us.
Yeah. Well, it was also such a low effort, announcement.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, ooh, okay.
Bubbles. Feathers. Sand.
Yeah. Anyways.
It's just like, what is this? A sandals commercial?
The next announcement is Master Sex. Masters EX.
Oh yeah.
So I will never.
I genuinely looked at you like,
oh God,
where are we going with
Hello,
this?
I know you're stupid, but come on. So Masters EX introduced 3 pairs that are going to be coming in the new update, which is May and Latias, Skyla and Tornadus, and Raihan and Flygon, and they all have new outfits. You're also going to get, I don't understand how this
even as
works.
Someone that plays Masters EX, I'm like, whoa.
Yay. I thought May looked super cute. So you're gonna get 5k gems, and once the direct, it's not a direct presentation, was over, if you log in, you'll get 3k more gems, so you'll get a total of 7.
Yep.
So that's nice.
I already got the 3k. It's sitting in my account.
Could never.
Yeah, Genshin literally could never. With the amount of stuff that they've been giving out, with 100 free pairs and a bunch of other pairs, quite literally in the past week, I've gotten 7 5-stars, some of them duplicates of pairs that I've never had, and I'm like, wow. I spent $100 on Genshin to not get the character I wanted.
Yeah, and then it's saving up all the gems in that too. It's just whatever. Anyways, not talking about Genshin.
And check mark on your bingo card for the podcast. Hate for Genshin polls. All right, and then let's see what's next to that. I will burp, and then if you want to make,
Momo is an idiot.
If anyone makes a Peach Plant podcast bingo card, thank you. We're very so flattered. We will make it an official card.
Yeah. I feel like that should be a merch idea. It's the bingo board. The podcast.
We will steal it, give you no credit.
No.
We are essentially just Disney.
Okay. Yeah. Ugh. Let's not get into that. The next thing that they presented was Pokemon Cafe Remix. So they introduced a new function where Pelipper is making deliveries for you to help boast the popularity of your cafe, and so you get like 11 tries to make deliveries for free to see if you like it. They're also introducing Victini and Shiny Piplup. So I have never played this. I don't know if I'm even saying this right, but
I didn't even know there was a game.
Play it, then woo!
Yeah, to the you. 4 people that play that, props to you. Torterra's in there, so at least they represent my boy somewhere.
Yeah.
I genuinely had no idea there was a game. I thought it was just kind of like...
They announced it a while. I think it's been out for a year.
No, but I didn't know that... I saw them doing like some bubbles or some shit and matching things. I didn't know there was a game. I thought it was just like...
Oh, like checking your cafe.
Quirky little cafe. And then maybe someone shows up and wants a job. And it's like, okay, fine. Here's a cookie.
Do you want a crumpet?
How do I pay you? You don't have debt. I can't give you a lease.
You also don't have fingers to give me money. Anyways, so yeah, that's like the Poke Cafe remix. Pokemon Unite, they have a Pokemon Day event going on where there's like a certain... Okay, I haven't played this either, so I also don't understand it. But there's certain challenges going on in like certain team modes where they're making every single Pokemon available that you can play as.
If you're a sad degenerate like I am, this is League of Legends Earth. Literally all the abilities have no cooldown. You can play as whoever the fuck you want. It's going to be complete chaos, and then after the event is over, you're going to forget how to play the game because your cooldowns you're used to having 0. So have fun with that. Also, Hoopa's out.
Yeah, so they introduced Duraludon as being a new character that you can play as, and they introduced Inhaler.
Cue the little kids saying "yay" unenthusiastically sound effect, and then also put some PNG confetti that I'm sure I'm gonna forget to put in the video. But who gives a shit about that Inhaler?
They also announced Hoopa, who, if you go through the events, you get to like obtain the playable license to be Hoopa.
Play the sound effect again.
Yeah, well,
cue the confetti. When I say play the sound effect, I'm gonna play the sound effect post. You don't need to make the sound effect as well.
I thought I was just gonna save you some time.
No, I need to edit this one.
Wow. So that concludes the Unite, and the next update is for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. So for BDSP,
cue the actual enthusiastic cheering.
Wow. Let's go! He's pulling his cock out. So Shaman is announced to be obtainable in the game. This is the first game that you can legally obtain Shaman without having like an action replay or a shark. Because you had to glitch through to get to the path or the island. So
yeah, it was like those were the predecessors almost of trying to do live events and updates, because it's like Darkrai, Shaman, Cresselia. It's like, if you go to GameStop and you buy one Sly Cooper pop figure, one controller, and a Wonder Ball chocolate ball, we'll give you a code so that you can maybe see Shaman. Who knows? It's ambiguous. It's also only for 2 days. So, like, come in to get it real quick.
I remember when they would give you, like, items that you had that was downloaded onto your DS, and that's how you would get Pokemon.
That was super big in the X and Y, when it was like, come into the store and get Blazikenite or something like that. And I was like, oh, I really got to do that, I guess.
Yeah. So they only announced Shaman. There's no other update to the game. I assume they're probably going to introduce Darkrai at some point, but that's Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl.
We're enthusiastic for that, but at the same time, that game is already dead and gone. Yay. I literally didn't even beat the 6th gym.
We're going to make a podcast episode on our thoughts. Anyways,
as you can tell, they're going to be overwhelmingly positive.
And then we have Pokemon Legends Arceus. So there's a new update called Daybreak, and that looks like it's going to include more missions and a little bit more kind of just like hanging out with the NPCs. Yeah,
this was probably the one item that I put on my bingo board that I was like, this isn't even a prediction. Well, I guess it technically is, but I'm like 100 billion% this is going to happen, is that they are going to release an update that is free, that will be just such a minor thing, but will give you something to do.
Yeah.
It's patch 1.1, and it looks like, which is a major patch, which looks like there's going to be something kind of going on with the Pokemon, liken it to like the Dynamaxing that's like randomly happening in Sword and Shield, of, oh, there's new hordes of alpha Pokemon. In the trailer, it shows like a group of 5 giant Electrodes and giant Zoroarks and a bunch of other stuff. So it looks like they're just introducing a few new missions. No new forms, no new anything. Just something to do. Just a few more quests, which is good. I mean, being able to make those free items will definitely satisfy us for a while to make sure that things are going well. Yeah, something that I also realized too after watching back through the update stuff, the video, the Zoroas were not in the right region. So I'm wondering if they're like, this is weird, we're finding other Pokemon where they aren't supposed to be. So I'm wondering how that'll play in. But yeah, it's it'll be definitely very interesting. I think I'd like to talk a little bit more about it at some other point. Maybe we can at the end of this. Mostly from a logistics standpoint of why I want to talk about it. Yeah, we'll maybe talk about it later. It just kind of goes into the... so you don't forget what you were going to say. Well, no, I kind of wrote it down here. Okay. In once it has to kind of do with real life things, not just like the logistics of the game and how this is. Like, I'm not going to go into that type of bullshit, but just kind of the logistics of how they would be able to do these certain things developmental wise. But we can talk about that a little bit more once we go over. The last little the last little tidbit before the full course meal, they did announce a new original anime that's based in the Hisuian region that'll be launching in, they hope, 2022. So that's something anime. Yeah, so it looks interesting. I'm always excited because it's just more representation for my favorite Pokemon, Zoroark and Zoroark, because they had a Zoroark in like the advertisement illustration. So anyways, that was fun, because they totally made that and said, you know what, this thing probably won't sell well, we shouldn't really give it the light of day at all. Like, no one likes this Pokemon. We didn't make a movie about the original one. Yeah. Why would we give it a whole anime? We're the opposite of Mr. Krabs. We hate money. Yeah, okay. Shut up. So on to the big woo exciting. I am still I'm like processing. I'm baffled because it was like oh, here's our last announcement, and you're kind of just like, all right, I've seen this before. What did you think they were going to play? Conquest.
I thought so too.
I thought Conquest. That might be just genuinely because we saw some fan art of people making some really, really official looking stuff that looked Conquest-y.
Yeah.
But also it was just kind of like, they're not going to do Rangers. I just don't think they have the bandwidth or the ability
taking and just go.
Yeah, and
like swinging your arm
and they
around.
just haven't done enough motion control games to be like, all right, cool, that would be something they want.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't know why they're not playing into nostalgia of making a Stadium game.
Yeah.
Like a Stadium remake, Stadium 3, or something like that to finally quench everybody's like, every Pokemon is in here, finally, because it's just battling.
Yeah. They might though, because as they make more new games, the more they have to make models, and once they make those models, they can just port it into a Stadium game.
Yeah, and I just don't know why they wouldn't do it and be like, oh, $15 you get the new gen in Pokemon Stadium. Oh, like it just seems so easy to me.
Yeah.
And then just some of the other one-offs, like they'd never do Channel. I really, really don't think they're gonna make a Coliseum-esque game ever again. And then they're not
for a while.
Yeah, and then I feel like they need to revamp Mystery Dungeon. I feel like they went back to it, changed the art style to make it look like ass, and then nobody bought it. And they're just kind of like, either we need to revisit this or not make this again.
Yeah.
So I really just kind of was like, I don't know, Conquest, sure. Because deep down inside, I don't have any hopes and dreams for this. It's not going to be Gen 9. Like, come on.
Well, it didn't make sense. There was a lot that was leading up to it that you're kind of like, okay. I saw somebody who made a really, really smart tweet saying the Sword and Shield anime they've run out of introducing characters, storyline, gyms. Like that anime is coming to an end. Now, given they're introducing Hisui in one, but that's going to kind of hold over until this Gen 9 anime comes out. So I'm like, that's an interesting point. Like, it's time for another generation or something new. Like, they're wiping the board clean for something new. But also, all the predictions on the timelines, you'll see people breaking up what years the games are released and kind of the order that they go in, the remakes, etc. And it was time for a new mainline game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I totally agree. As soon as you brought that up to me, I was like, wow. It's kind of some damning evidence of like, even
predictable.
Even if you're like, I don't really think they would do that, you almost kind of sit there as a business standpoint and go, no, it's time for them to make that. They need to make money. So I think it is genuinely time for it, but it just, again, it'll go into a point that I make later. It's just kind of the timeline is concerning. So it's like,
especially with what they showed. Okay. Well, we'll start off with this. My initial thoughts with the trailer. So if you're watching it, it is an IRL person, a security guard going through probably like a mall of sorts. And he's, walking around with his flashlight and he's approaching this door. And I thought it was like Detective Pikachu 2. And you're like, no way. They canceled that. I'm like, why would they make this the big announcement? That doesn't make sense.
Also, it just looked like shit. I was like, you do realize that Detective Pikachu's a movie and this literally looks like a YouTube video.
Yeah. So he's walking down the hallway and we see the red and purple lights. And you're like, this isn't any of the games.
This is something different.
This is something new.
My cinematographer brain went, that's there for a reason. I'm not that stupid. I am pretty dumb, but
well, we're both pretty dumb in the fact that we're not going to dissect the trailer because we don't know what anything in the rooms meant. The only thing that I noticed is there's like on the back of a chair a coat, and it looks like a web of sorts, and that clearly has to stand for something.
Yeah,
maybe it's like the Team Rocket, or I don't know. I thought I had a big brain moment, but I'm not even going to go into explaining it.
Would 100% be the most complex logo they do for a organization if that is what it is. So it leads me to believe it might not be, but at the same time it's like, I don't fucking know.
It was there for a reason.
Yeah, it has to mean something.
Yeah, and so it was like this room with a lot of eclectic-y stuff, kind of like a Howl's Moving Castle, Howl's Room kind of a thing, where he has Howl. Grant's never seen it, but Howl is the blonde guy, okay, you don't even know who that is. He collects a lot of things. He's a wizard, so potions and jewels and stuff like that. Oh my god, all this stuff, right? And so
you can't see, but I'm literally just moving my head over my head.
As
my,
if, like,
my,
I
wait,
don't
my head,
know.
my hand over my head as it's sailing right over. This is Hal. Yeah,
sure,
and he's a
honey.
wizard. Sure. I know in Hal's Moving Castle there's a fire. And he eats soot sprites or something, and he cooks a really high animated egg or something like that.
He doesn't eat soot sprites, but he does eat the eggshells.
Sure. All I know is that egg is in like 85 frames per second, and it doesn't need to be.
I think his name is like Calcifer or something. But anyways, yeah, so it's like a room with all of these items and you're kind of like, I can't wait to see the videos coming out where people are dissecting the items in there and really like taking time to look at all of it.
Is there a Pokemon version of Matt Pat? Get him on the horn.
Yeah. Austin John plays.
Hey. Oh, yeah. Hey. What the fuck that calendar mean, boy?
Yeah. But anyways, so the officer guy goes and sees a switch and he gets transported into it, and the trailer
doesn't.
Kind of. I don't know. Well, he gets a vision. I don't know how to explain. Like, it's a cheesy Nintendo cut.
Cringe transition on the bingo board. Just stamp that like 5 times.
But yeah, so then it starts into the region, and
I was baffled because it truly you kind of sit there and you have to think again logistically of like, I don't think when they've revealed a generation they've ever revealed that much right on announcement. They showed a decently fleshed out proof of concept trailer and the starters. I don't think they've ever done that.
Well, but that's because of the timeline. You have to think about that.
Yeah, I feel like they usually announce things earlier.
Yeah.
But it's still just kind of like that, I think, is what baffled me so much, because I'm so used to like that Pokemon Go thing where it's like there's sand and a bubble.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, what the fuck does that mean? What is this?
Like, I just remembered back in when they introduced was it, I don't think it was black and white. I don't remember, but they only did like the blacked out silhouettes. And then everybody was drawing in their own like designs to make up what the Pokemon were. And then when they released it, you're like, oh, it wasn't a giraffe, it was a penguin or whatever.
I think my favorite was the Arceus one when the forms were released, but they were already leaked like 2 months in advance, and people were filling in what they were supposed to be, but just so dastardly wrong on purpose. That shit was so funny. But yeah, I mean, they released this trailer, and I dare say it looked good.
Yeah, it looked really good.
And I will not sit here and say, oh, it looked good graphically.
Oh, fuck no.
That I will post some pictures here and give you a little like weatherman kind of like, if you look here at the bottom right, you can see here that this looks like Play-Doh. But proof of concept, it looks really, really good.
It looks initially, this is absolutely going off of the PLA format and server. Like not server, but like how it's being made. Grant and I, so which
is really interesting, because to get to where they're at, they would have had to predict that Arceus would have done well, because they would have been so far into development before Arceus even released.
Yeah.
So this has to all be feedback based on just Sword and Shield.
Well, and I'm wondering how firm that's going to be, because think about it, they toyed with it in Sword and Shield with the open area. So and then the islands and the DLC, it's like, are Pokemon gonna follow us? Who knows? So
I'm officially over Pokemon following you. They've fucked it up so bad that they can never like redeem themselves ever again. It's terrible. Like I'm at that point where I give up.
I'm kind of annoyed with it, but so like the first establishing shot, Grant and I sat here and like looked at it and we're like, oh, okay, like let's really sit with this and look at it. And the one of the town, that we'll probably have it up on the
we'll put this one up on the screen, because there's a lot of stuff on this one that it's very, we want to make sure we're not talking out of our ass, but also kind of giving some reason to why we're thinking and why we're somewhat optimistic about this one.
Yeah. So it's this establishing shot that shows like the whole like outside of the kingdom, kind of like the walls of Maria.
Surprisingly similar to the wild area that they showed before, and it looked forward to the city that Rayhan is in, where it had the large castles or whatever in the walls in front of it. Very, very similar.
Yeah, and it looks like, so on the bottom part, you see this yellow path, and it leads up to a Pokemon Center. And Grant made this point that he's like, that makes me think that this is like a true route. Think of any Pokemon game that you play where there isn't a established city and there's like a Pokemon Center there. First thing that comes to mind is gold, silver, crystal, heart gold, soul silver kind of a thing. There's one route that it's before the first main cave. They stick a Pokemon Center right there.
Same for Gen 1 right after Brock's gym. There's a Pokemon Center right before Mount Moon.
Yeah. So it's something like that. It makes us think that you can, one, follow a path, but also be off the path.
I mean, it really... Like we'll say, I'll zoom in here just so that you can kind of see not the whole picture, but just this Pokemon Center and then kind of the bottom left of it. That Pokemon Center is outside of the walls in an area that has routes and path looking. So in theory, you would be exiting this Pokemon Center and be in this area.
Route 105.
Exactly. Is this a route? Is this a
outskirts?
Is this an outskirts? Is this another wild area? This is where we don't know. And we'd probably have to go back into Sword and Shield and look, are there paths in this area? I think there were.
There were.
So, that kind of throws things out the window because you could still look at similarities and things like that, like the nursery. The nursery was still in the wild area, so that shows proof that a building can be in the wild area and stuff like that.
That's a good point.
And maybe they're just going like, oh, people are annoyed that you had to go in the city to heal and then come back out, so maybe it is just a wild area again.
Well, something that I just remembered too, I don't think we'll point to this specifically, but we have that front entrance where the Pokemon Center is that we're talking about. And if you look far right, you can see another Pokemon Center. So you kind of look at that large black mass and you see over that hill, like 2 castle tips indicating another entrance, right? So there's 2 entrances now, but then if you go directly to the left, it looks like there's a bridge, which a 3rd entrance, as well as if you look beyond the city, there's another building tucked in the mountains, which could indicate another entrance. So I'm wondering if this is kind of like a general hub or like a mainstay, like what they had in X and Y for the Eiffel Tower, where it's multiple entrances and like this is kind of the big main city or something like that. So I'm very interested to see.
Yeah, it looks like it's taking a lot of inspiration from, I'd say, that Eiffel Tower city, as well as the one that we just got in Sword and Shield of like the bridges on either side and kind of that nonsense. So, it's not too significantly unique. However, proof of concept and graphically, I think we're looking good, and I think that might be the area where it's like I had no expectations, and now looking at this, I do. And me seeing that Pokemon Center and kind of just the remainder of the trailer, I'm like, this feels like these are going to be open routes instead of a designated wild area.
Well, and they started to, we'll talk about the city in a second. They gave some establishing shots of what we presume is that city. But they gave some quick shots of routes and little environments and things. And they looked, 1, open like Arceus, but 2, they had one specifically with route signs, and then a Meowth was running there. And that kind of indicates that there are some like closed off routes, something kind of traditional where it's like, okay, we might actually like have a route with like mazes or something, or that could lead to a forest or something like that. So it looks like there's variety in terrain, which has me excited because I felt like, and I really hope they don't do the Sword and Shield thing where it's like yes, you can avoid the trainers and whatnot, but like flesh it out more. Do not make it linear. Give me stuff to explore, because now we've had Arceus where it's like open world.
Yeah, and it's gonna be really interesting, because there's another aspect of, if you look through a lot of the game, there's I'll put a screenshot on this one too. It's something that I pointed out. As of recording this, as of the release coming out, it's obviously Pokemon Presents Day, Pokemon Day, 26th anniversary. They have, in theory, it says late 2022 for release, but we all know that's mid-November, November 18th,
Christmas
probably.
release-ish.
No, probably November.
Well, I mean, like before Christmas.
Yeah, holiday.
It's yes.
Holiday release.
Yes.
I'm going to say November 18th, 19th, whatever.
Yeah.
They have 9 months, 8 months to flesh this out graphically, but there are some areas, like I said, I'm going to put some screenshots on here where it's like, did you just fucking stop halfway through? Did you just like really not think to do this part and show
like the grass
this?
isn't finished.
Yeah, we got grass that just kind of stops and then goes into Play-Doh rock, and you're like, oh, okay.
Or
and then those Swablu that were on the city, whatever, that whole sequence right there, everything was crisp. Nothing was faded because of, how distortion and point of view works.
What you mean specifically is there's the Swablu in the front where like the Swablu were rendered really well, and texture wise building looked like hot ass garbage. And then when you look into the back, there's almost like a cathedral, and that was crisp,
clear as day,
not blurred. Like you could see everything, so there was no depth of field for that.
Yeah, and it was also like 24 frames a second. Like it was not doing well.
They had a lot of windmills.
There were windmills
in each distance. Like when one's closer, it's okay. It's moving.
And then the fourth one in the back's like listening to Skrillex in the background. So I mean, I'm still hopeful for graphics, because BDSP, when that came out, announcement, bad.
Yeah,
they fixed it. I'd like to say, I think graphically
it was okay.
I think graphically they did what they needed to.
Yeah,
to fit the style that they were going for that one. So I'm like, okay,
good job.
I have a little bit of faith in you.
Sure.
However, that was not made by Game Freak.
Correct.
This game is made by Game Freak.
So was Arceus.
This
looks like Arceus.
So we are now getting into what is going to be my immediate huge concern. I and a lot of other people want the main series Pokemon games
to be good,
and Arceus to be now their two flagships.
Yeah.
They will take over the world if they make like Legends Celebi, and then Gen 9, and then Legends Zekrom, and then Gen 10 or something like that.
Legends Deoxys.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever. They cannot. They already are fucking up with one game.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to make them do now both flagships, you are dooming them all to fail.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. They are, with mainline series, not only just Game Freak, but the Pokemon Company with their mainline games. Sword and Shield, I don't fucking care who you are. It sucked.
It sucked. Dog shit.
It was so bad. They had such a interesting concept, and they just fucked themselves in the ass with that one. Then they did remake BDSP. I stopped playing it. I don't think I've ever picked up a Pokemon game and just, aside from Sun and Moon, stopped playing it. Like I need to get back into it so I can sit here and give a proper review, but it's going to be like pulling teeth for me.
Yeah.
So then I
stopped at Byron.
They had that, and so now you're like,
well, that's not Game Freak.
Well, no, it wasn't, but I'm saying it's a mainline game that isn't doing successful. So now we have Game Freak back in with a mainline game, and you're like, oh no. Because we got Arceus, so now we can see what Game Freak can produce with an open world game. What they... full-scale characters, new mechanics, whatever. We can see what they can do. And I swear to God, the only thing that would make Legends of Arceus go from a fantastic game to like one of the best games is if it just had better texturing.
Yeah, if it had just a little bit more of that polish. I mean, the water texture looks like it's from a PlayStation 1. The animation of the characters looks like it's from a PlayStation 2 or a GameCube.
Yeah.
And it's like, it really is not good. However, proof of concept in the game is just phenomenal. I love playing the game. It's so much fun. I hope they really continue to update it because I think it is such an amazing concept. A lot of people said they didn't like the story. I loved the story. I thought it was very interactive instead of watching two little fucking squares have text box to each other.
Or just like big pixels.
Yeah. And I just felt like it was really, really interesting. Some of the cutscenes were really cool. But the one thing that gives me hope is that Game Freak made Arceus, which proves to me you can make open world areas with Pokemon in them that run smoothly with good transitions and not a lot of lag.
And it wasn't super buggy.
No, not at all.
It really wasn't.
Well, I mean, some people were finding things here and there, but it's like the fact that I can so smoothly transition from being on Weird Ear, just start running on water, it auto transitions to Basculin. I can jump out of the water and it goes right back to Weird Ear. And Pokemon are still spawning. They're not jittering everywhere. Shinies can spawn. Sound is still perfect.
The fact that you can fly super high and things are still loading down below.
And the render distance on that is fine now. Granted, it probably is like that because they have PlayStation 1 graphics. But it's just the fact that they can finally do that, which is such a dramatic improvement from what the wild area was.
Yeah.
The wild area sucked.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
Now, I hope that they improve on their level design because that was another gripe that I had of Arceus of like, cool, after you play the first two areas, you're like, they're all the same.
I will give you one pushback on the wild area thing. That was far more fleshed out than Arceus. Arceus was like way too spread out.
I disagree.
Interesting.
I totally disagree.
Well, I think like based off of Pokemon, but I'm saying environmentally where they had trees and rocks and I don't know, it felt more full from what I can remember.
In the wild area?
I feel like depending on the area, especially in the DLCs, I felt like it was a little bit more full. But I guess we can agree to disagree because we still need to talk about, let's finish this point and we still need to talk about where we think this region is set and also talk
and
about
the little
the
dudes. We never talked about the dudes.
Yeah. So I agree. I think there's a lot of cause of concern for it. I also think I'm also concerned just based off of the lack of variety that they showed us, because this will be a good transition to the next topic. It was all city. It was like 90% city. So my concern is like, what the fuck does the rest of it look like? I have no idea.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think in my closing point is I just really, really, really want, with it both being Game Freak is so tough, because this will be the litmus of could Arceus have been better, but it wasn't because we worked on this. And this is amazing. Or is this in the same echelon of Arceus in the fact that now you're never going to get a great game again. You're going to get two decent, okay games. Yeah. And it's like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I will sacrifice waiting for you to push out both of them to be great. Yeah. And we did not need both of those in the same year, in the slightest.
Yeah.
And I would not.
I almost feel like too overwhelmed, especially with all the other games in the market, like Kirby and
this year. I think this would go into a much broader topic for me, but I think with it coming out this year, with a lot of other plans that Nintendo has, I think Nintendo is literally swinging for the fences this year.
Yeah.
It is insane with them having Kirby, open world Kirby, Arceus, now Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
They had a few other announcements that are coming out. We still don't know if Bayonetta 3 is coming out this year. They had Metroid Dread just recently come out, which wasn't this year, but still they're riding the high on that one.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have Splatoon 3 come out.
Mm-hmm.
They are likely going to have
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring's not Nintendo.
Well, no, but I mean, it's just a new game regardless.
No, I'm just speaking Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
And because they're going to have one, if not two, of possibly 3 Zelda games come out, whether that's Breath of the Wild 2 or a double pack release of Twilight Princess and...
Skyward?
No, Skyward's already out. Twilight Princess and Wind Waker.
Yeah.
So now those are going to come out.
Yeah.
There's also talks that the digital versions of the Pokemon games are going to come out onto the Nintendo Switch because the DS. So it's like they're just sitting here and they're like, we're going to pump out literally everything in 2022 is going to be a money maker for us.
I'm surprised they didn't try to push for, I mean, obviously Christmas season is like their best selling season. So why wouldn't they do it? But I just feel like push it to spring.
Any company other than Nintendo, I would not in the slightest be surprised if they push it to March.
Yeah.
But it's Nintendo and they will not do it.
They would rather push out a shitty product than wait. But yeah, okay, so I agree with all of that. I think it's bold. They're really, really going for the wallets. But the transition into the city and the trailer and stuff. So we're speculating on where this region is based off of. It looked Spanish, like Spain, Italian, Greece.
My first guess was Grecian.
Yeah.
I totally thought it was Greece.
The more that I sit with it, the more I think Italy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I feel like the main town, so something that we were talking about before we started doing the podcast, Pokemon Heroes, the Latios Latios movie, was released in 2003. It's going on its 19th year of like its birthday. I think it reflects a lot of that. You know, just we've never been to Italy and really know the touristy
because
stuff.
I do see a lot of Italy things, and unless I see more of like the expanse of more than just the city, it just does not look Italian to me.
The windmills are throwing me off.
It looked very Grecian.
Yeah.
And then I would also say I was pretty tunnel vision on Greece, but then you also said Spain.
Yeah.
I think Spain would be another good one that it's like, this does look relatively Spanish. And going into the starters, I could see why it would be Spain instead of Greece. But just because of the duck.
What were the names for them again?
I have them.
Okay. I was going to say the names look Spanish or Italian, though. That's why.
Fuecoco is very Spanish. Because fuego is fire.
Yeah, I guess. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just on that cusp, though.
Yeah,
of like,
I'm very 50-50 Spain, Greece.
It's riding the line between Spain, Italy, Greece. So it's somewhere in that triangle, the Bermuda Triangle of that.
I think it's actually just like a line.
Yeah. Well, yeah, honestly, yeah. But I thought it was really colorful and pretty. Oh my God. They had such beautiful mosaics on the walls, and it just looked like fucking Play-Doh. Like, crisp up those textures, for Christ's sake. Just like, my gosh.
I just don't understand why it's so difficult to be able to do that, because at some point, I mean, you've obviously withstood the test of time until this point, so why change? But it's just like, your grip on nostalgia and party games and playing games for children is eventually going to run out. Please make a goddamn console that can handle pictures that your phone can render.
You mean a game? Because they have a console that can render.
No, they obviously cannot, because no game has been graphically... Huh?
They're making a game that looks like shit. They can do better, is what...
Can they, though? I have never seen a graphically good game on the Switch.
Well, but I'm talking about their textures they can make better than just Play-Doh.
That's what I'm saying, though. Can they? Does the game have enough memory to be able to run on a Switch? Because it's like, like, what game have you seen that just like, wow, this looks great? Like, I'd say that Metroid actually looks pretty good.
Mario games. I feel like Mario games have looked like pretty darn good.
But you have to remember how small.
Looks really good.
You have to remember how small those are. Like, you only have a model for 4 Pikmin, 2 dudes, and then 5 maps. Whereas Pokemon, you'd have to have a texture for 900 Pokemon, a giant open world, and all that other stuff. Yeah. And then the argument that some of the other third-party games are on there is invalid because they run at 10 frames a second.
Yeah.
No one wants to play The Witcher on a Switch. No one wants to play Assassin's Creed on a Switch.
Yeah, but the Assassin's Creed on Switch looked better than Arceus.
At points, it did. But at this point, I just want a game that fucking works.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think I think I'm going to fall in the umbrella of like I did with Arceus, even if it looks texturally, because model-wise, it looked good. You know, it looks...
Except for the trainers.
Yeah.
They look like mannequins.
The trees are a little scary looking. Yeah. And they're like lighting in the domains. That's one thing that I really hope that they flesh out.
I'll put up a picture of the horrifying mannequins right now.
I feel like the trees have like a black undershadow to them, and it's like it's just too bright. It's too it's too desaturated.
Maybe it's because they're working so hard. They haven't seen a tree in like 3 years, so they can't model a tree properly.
They didn't touch grass
because they don't look good in Arceus. They don't look good in Sword and Shield. They don't look good in this either.
This is a bad joke because there's been like on the new season of Demon Slayer. Side note, there were a lot of the animators working for the studio and whatnot that they didn't leave the studio for 3 days. And it's just like, holy shit.
They were like, wow, we don't touch grass. But their outcome was
actually good.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways.
They actually made something amazing.
But, yeah, do you want to talk about starters?
Oh, yeah, the main event.
Little babies. Sorry.
Okay, we're already over like 5 minutes, and here you go. But yeah, they released the starters
for once. They were just like, here.
Just is so surprising to me still. Yeah. I'm like, I still can't get over them, and I'm in a very weird area with them of like, I saw them, I was like, oh, wow. And then I saw them again, and I was like, I like these. These are good. And then I looked at them again, and I was like, these look like Fakemon.
Yeah, that's what my first thought was.
Like, these don't look real. They look like Pokemon, but they're just...
They're drawn in not the Pokemon style. Yeah, that's like, what it is.
Something about them is wrong. Like, I started analyzing them with you, and I looked at so there's 3 starters. All right, before I get ahead of myself, you're obviously seeing them on the screen now, but on the left, we have the grass starter, the grass cat Pokemon, Sprigatito.
Oh, it's Pesto Catto.
Okay, it's Spain confirmed. Then we have the fire croc in the middle. I am now a stan of this boy. Little Fuecoco.
Little garbage goblin.
We will call him.
Fuecoco. That's why I'm like, it has to be Italy.
It has to be. Even though we totally did just the Italian, like, Fuecoco, nel faccini, and focaccia.
Ike masho Fuecoco. Gambattene Fuecoco.
Wow, that'll be the new thing, is speaking Japanese with an Italian accent. And then
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Hajime moshite. Momoko.
And then on the right, we had our last little dude, the duckling.
Elvis Presley.
Quaxley. No, it's JoJo. Thank you.
I don't know. He's ugly. He's the ugly duckling.
Yeah.
No, he's cute.
But the more I looked at it, Quaxley, for whatever reason, looks Pokemon to me, mostly because they already have Ducklet.
Yeah, I think the eyes are just a little too cartoony.
Yeah.
But if you, like, covered up the eyes, I'm like, yeah, that's a Pokemon, for sure.
Absolutely. Fuecoco has a few aspects of it where I said it to you. I was like, this looks Pokemon, but just something about it. It has a Gibble body type. Its eyes look Pokemon for, like, a different type of style. Its feet definitely look Pokemon, kind of like a, not Camerupt, but like I've seen that before.
Yeah, almost and like on a Carkol or something.
Yeah, Carkol.
Or what the fuck is the not Torkoal, the little roly-poly, the second evolution.
That's literally a fucking cart. He has feet. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Never mind. But like the aesthetic of like the rocks. Kind of.
Yeah, it looked right, but then I noticed someone post something in reaction to it. It looks like a Mario enemy.
Oh. Okay, if we remember, put up the graphic, the meme you sent me on Instagram.
Yeah, that is a funny meme.
Weed cat, Shy Guy
with Monty Gator head on
from Freddy Fazbear,
and then just JoJo.
JoJo Donald Duck.
Yeah, JoJo Donald Duck, and that's really what they are. And then Sprigatito, they totally just said people will like this because it's a cat
and it's a furry,
and just kind of went, that's good enough. But I look at it and I'm like, it's literally just a fucking green cat.
Yeah,
nothing about this is interesting.
It looks like a long-haired Siamese cat because of the leaf in the middle. You know, it
has a leaf in the middle?
Yeah, here, I got a picture.
Oh, that's surprising. I don't remember that.
Like this leaf pattern, that's why it looks like a weed cat, but it looks like a Siamese because they're also, I don't know, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of they're in an uncanny valley for me of this threshold that I'm trying to get over of like, these are Fakemon, because they're starting to get in the, now we're super cartoony, now we're super baby, now we have a lot of round features. The eyes on the cat,
like
I think make it look fake. That's why it looks weird.
They look like Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah. The little fire dude,
I love him.
I think he's cute.
I adore him with all my heart.
I think he's very successful, actually, the more that I like sit and look at him.
I think right now it's just very jarring because they are new and now they are official.
Yes.
Like we just have to
there was no sitting with the silhouettes.
Yeah, we have to accept that these are official now. And I feel like everybody has that feeling because I had the same exact feeling when they announced Sword and Shield. But now the more and more I sit with it, I fucking hate Sobble. Hate that bitch. He is not a Pokemon. I really, really like Grookey and Scorbunny.
Yeah, I do.
But whenever I initially saw them, I was like, what the fuck is this rabbit?
Yeah.
Like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
I love Grookey, though. Grookey has my heart.
Well, what's interesting is, specifically with Sword and Shield, I loved Grookey too, but you claimed him, so I had to do a different starter. Which, by the way, just on the record, I claimed Scarlet.
Yeah,
again,
you bitch.
Thank you. But yeah, so anyways, I really liked Grookey, but I was like, oh,
who's red and shit can't have Scarlet.
Shut up. I liked Scorbunny, but once they released the final evolutions, I'm like, fuck no, I don't want a soccer player. This is stupid. So to be honest, I'm holding off on who I'm picking until I see the final evolutions, which is probably going to happen in like 2 months because the game is coming at the end of the year. They're going to start punching out all the new content for this. It's like putting it on the fast track.
Yeah, I spoke with my brother about this after the announcement came out, just kind of talking with him about it, you know, reminiscing on other games, you know, the fall of Nintendo. And for him, someone who isn't like us, just like, Nintendo, we love Pokemon. Ooh, even if it sucks, we'll still buy it. It really falls down to, I think, for a lot of people now, 3 criteria. Is the game going to fucking hold your hand? Is it going to look like shit? Are the starters going to be good?
Yeah.
And it literally just falls to those 3 of like, Sword and Shield look like ass. It literally is the babiest game in the entire world.
Even Let's Go was a little bit more like figure it out.
Yeah. And the starters for that gen when they evolved,
were just
all of them sucked. Or were just too personality and gimmick based.
They were just too human with jobs.
I just do not like them pushing a personality onto a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like that Cinderace. And they started
to do that with Sun and Moon.
Yeah. Like, I don't like that Cinderace is just a soccer player. Why can't it just do something else? Yeah. I don't like that Rillaboom has a drum. Why can't it just be a gorilla who happens to have a stick?
Where, like, think of every single generation before that where they were all just monsters.
Yeah. Yeah, like I just don't enjoy that. So like if the crocodile comes out and it's like all of a sudden he has like built-in scale sunglasses, it's like that's fucking weird. Yeah. I don't want that. Yeah. I don't want it to like how they're just taking these massive leaps of like Poplio is just Poplio and you're like, oh, okay. And then Brion comes out and you're like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And then it's like, oh, now I'm a siren magical opera dolphin seal, and you're like, what the fuck?
A literal
Lytton is a cat. Now I'm a bigger, scruffier cat. Now I'm a fucking pro wrestler. What in the fuck are you talking about? Like, no one likes that.
Yeah. Well, and we'll make this a final thought because this is getting pretty long. What do you think the size of the new generation is going to be? And are you excited or fearful for new Pokemon based off of what we've been receiving with like Sword and Shield?
I'm incredibly fearful for the size of the game. I feel like it's going to be really small and they're going to see that no matter what, even if the game is terrible, it'll be a bestseller and they can sell expansion passes. So I feel like an expansion pass will come out again with 2 DLC to increase what the game is, and the region will be small because it will be explorative and it will not be as linear. So you can go back and forth or whatever. I feel like you said they're really playing into that big city. I feel like you're going to be crossing through that city a few different times.
Almost like a 4-leaf clover, like a roundabout, you know?
Yeah, or just a central hub in whatever games that we had that had kind of the Paris kind of like that one, and then the New York of like you just keep going through those areas a few times. I have a feeling that it's going to be a lot like that.
Yeah,
this is going to be your central hub. I'm also fearful for gyms. I have no idea what they're going to do for that.
I'm interested to see how the battling is going to go. Just in general, off of how Arceus was just like, hey, you can move around in like agile style and stuff like that. It's just going to feel kind of stale. But I'm also fearful of just the new Pokemon because
I have literally no expectations.
I mean, yeah, because I'm wondering how they're going to. I say Black and White is the most successful in picking an overall theme. It was America, New York-esque, rats, garbage, loud Pokemon.
America sucks.
Like bugs and it was just kind of, it fit. So I'm wondering what kind of marine-esque Pokemon they're going to do, since they did Alola, which was island Pokemon, and that was also a very successful one too, of the overarching
the more and more you look at Sun and Moon, it gets a lot of shit because of the Ultra Beasts.
Yeah,
a lot of the Pokemon in Sun and Moon were actually strangely successful.
Yeah, so I liked them.
For me, I went in the Hisuian forms. We're just like, all right, cool. Decidueye is cool. Typhlosion grew on me. I hate Samurott, but like some of the other ones, I'm like, yeah, I like Wordeer. I like Overquill. Ursaluna is a little different. I'll take it. Whatever. I don't like Goodra to begin with, so
whatever.
I love Voltorb. I love Electrode. I'll be the
god tier.
Yeah, I'll be the one person to say I like Electrode and Voltorb. Yeah. But it's just kind of like I didn't go in with expectations, and I wasn't disappointed, nor was I like woo.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm just kind of like, all right, just give me whatever. Like I honestly don't care. I just truly, it comes down to, are your starters good? Can I play the game? It's not going to hold my hand. Is it going to look at least just somewhat okay and feel fleshed out?
Yeah.
Because it just, Sword and Shield was not. And Arceus is going in the right direction. It's like, take what you've learned and make a good fucking game. Like, that's just make a good game.
Yeah, I know.
Closing thoughts. What are your I got some pros and cons, and then just a few notes that I want to end on. Just 3 really quick ones.
Overall, extremely excited and extremely grateful, because I have genuinely just sat here and I'm kind of like, I think I'm getting to the point where I'm done with Pokemon. Arceus saved me quite a bit. I think this announcement has saved me quite a bit. Fears, like we just explained about the game being small. I think the graphics are going to suck. I genuinely don't think they're going to fix it. But it doesn't matter, because they're probably going to release a new Nintendo console in 2 or 3 years anyways. Yeah. So who really cares, because they did the OLED. So whatever. Yeah. I think Pokemon fans are eating today, and I'm excited. So
yeah, absolutely. something that scares me. Yes, you can fix textures. I think they'll do a little bit of it. They're not going to do a lot. The thing that really concerns me is like render distance and like how they're going to be able to do that. That's truly spec based, and if the Switch can't handle it, it's just going to be trash.
Yeah.
Literally the fact that you made a trailer for us and you had 3 instances of showing lag. It's like you literally had one job, show the trailer. It needs to at least look good for people. You showed 2 things that had frame rates that were less than 20.
Yeah.
That's literally inexcusable.
Yeah.
Release date of late 2022. It genuinely needed to be next year. I don't know why you're trying to push this so early.
Yeah.
We're eating totally just fine. You could do sporadic updates for Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Arceus. Like, you gave us 2 games in the past 4 months.
I don't know why you wouldn't drag it out. Build up the hype.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really, really concerning. Pros, I really like the starters. I think they're fun. I think they are overarching. Someone is going to have a favorite of all of them instead of someone just going Grookey as like supreme god like last time. Open
like the
world,
one favorite of all of them.
I like that it's open world. I like, or at least conceptually should be open world. And that they've shown that they can do that with Arceus.
And overworld Pokemon too.
Absolutely.
So
overworld
really
Pokemon,
exciting.
surprisingly, look amazing.
Yes.
They look like Battle Revolutions quality textures. Magnemite is shiny. Seviper has scales.
Yeah.
Like everything
Swablu
has the
looked
right
fluffy.
Yeah, everything had the right texture instead of everything looking like Play-Doh. So that was very, very promising. I liked that a lot. Closing thoughts though that I think just 100% are going to be a thing. Game Freak is spread too thin. They are not going to create awesome content that we want, unfortunately. We're just going to get going to get nothing higher than an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Ever. There is a 1,000,000,000% going to be an expansion pass and DLC. Like that is just inevitable.
100%.
And the old ways that we know of the National Dex is gone forever. They are never, the National Dex is never going to exist in a mainline game ever again, whether that's Legends or this. There's already confirmed in a Cerebi update. I'll see if I can post it, but it was like Pokemon from Pokemon Home can only be transferred into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet if it is available in that game, which leads to believe that not all Pokemon are going to be coded into there.
Oh, not at all. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to pick a lot of different Pokemon that were not, I mean, they're going to take a lot of Sword and Shield Pokemon because that was the newest game, so they're going to implement them. But I think what they're going to do is pick a similar Pokedex in Arceus because I saw a lot of parallel Pokemon. The Drifloon, the Combee. I mean, they already made them. Why would they change that up? It was a spin-off game.
If they don't have more than like 500 Pokemon on launch, it's going to be a flop. Yeah. Because Arceus only had 260.
Yeah. So, I genuinely think they're going to have over 400. I think that would have to be. It's a mainline game. They have to. Yeah. It just depends on if it's post-game or not.
But yeah, I mean, Pokemon fans are surprisingly, after only a 14-minute presents, which is like the shortest one they've done, eating very well today.
And everyone's happy. And and the memes seem wholesome, and the attitude seems pretty positive towards it. And I can't wait to get annoyed with seeing everybody shitting on it and complaining. So
yeah, I feel like that'll come eventually. Really, anything negative that we're seeing right now is just graphics and, you know, anything that seems justified that they just have proven, you know, like graphically it just looks like shit. Yeah. Mechanically it runs like shit. Yeah. It's a Switch. Yeah. And it's just kind of like what it's going to be. And I think some people are finally just coming to terms with that of like, you know what? Fucking whatever.
Quick, my last final note, my little concern. I hope they have character customization because the trainers look stupid. I mean, they don't look stupid.
Trainers, in my opinion, horrifying.
They look so different from their outfit style compared to traditional, where they're like, oh yeah, we have like a super fun, like sporty look or whatever. They're in like school Sunday uniforms. It's
and a big hat.
Well, I mean, yeah, like sun hat, woo. But anyways, that's like my final note. I think we need to wrap it up because we've been talking about this for a bit. But overall, I think we're really excited. Please let us know what you guys think. What do you think on the starters? Any thoughts on where you think this region is based off of? List down below what stuff you think the Pokemon might be based off of. Do you think there's going to be like a new gelato Pokemon or a fucking oven pizza Pokemon or something like that. Pottery, I don't know. I think that'd be so cool. So let us know your thoughts and predictions down below. We actually really enjoy it when you guys take time to leave comments.
We read them all.
Yeah, we do, and we definitely try to respond to all of them too. So
yeah, and let us know if you're Team Fuecoco, because I am. So
I'm Team Furry. Go Weed Cat.
Hashtag. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. It was going to be hashtag Weed Cat, and then I was trying to think of one for Fuecoco, and I was like,
Fuego Crocodile.
And I was just like, Fega, the drink. I was like, I can't. I don't know.
Or if you're the ducking, Donald Duck, you're not getting healed. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Make sure to follow our Twitter. We posted our bingo sheets on there too, so definitely check those out. I also put a blank there. I'll try to make more bingo sheets with like directs and stuff in the future, because that's fun. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. Look forward to talking to you in the comments.
Yeah, we love hearing from you, so we'll hopefully see you all in the next one.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, Fuecoco.
No, Cat Gang.
You don't even know what his name is.
I don't. SpaghettiOs.
Brigatito.
Pesto Pussy. All right. Bye, guys.